I'm Eleanor Stocks, Eleanor Stocks. I'm president of the Greater Dayton African American Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber was formed in year 2000, in late November of that year, and it was formed because we believed there was a need to encourage and to grow more African American businesses within the Dayton area, all embracing the concepts of growing and expanding African American businesses and capitalizing on our purchasing power, which was over $600 million. So my background was very pronounced in terms of retail and marketing and also promoting services to the community. Prior to that, of course, I had gotten a master's from Ohio University, and I worked in many areas on the college level and all about town. So I've done a lot of different things. It's unfortunate to say this, but there were more African American businesses in Dayton when I was a child than there are now, and that was many years ago. The African American business community was lying on West 5th Street, West 3rd Street, all over town. It was not unlikely that we could not find a nice place to eat, that we could not find the products that we were looking for. To a great extent, those products were purchased, in drugstores and pharmacists and all of those kinds of things. They were purchased and they were owned by African Americans. And now they're very nil, it's very hard to find them, and the business has shifted where we're not major players economically, even though there's a few who are very successful on an upper level, but in day-to-day operations, we have lost our ground. The challenges that are faced with the African American Chamber today is rallying, I hope I said that right, to encourage the support of the businesses that are there, to try to seek business opportunities for them, to try to find capital for them so that they can sustain themselves, that they can grow, and that they can be competitive. And we find that as a big drawback in terms of their success, as well as monitoring, coaching, and all of those things that are necessary in order for us to grow and to sustain business. Well, one of the things that we have been doing for a number of years is certainly to be creative and try to get a pulse of what's happening within the community. We know that in marketing, things do change, and so if you don't make a change, people lose interest, they lose their commitment, and as a result of that, you're just old news. So we have been constantly redefining ourselves in terms of where do we see the need, where are our monies, where are people going, how can we impact that group so that we can keep them engaged around the number one core issue, which is business development and growth and economic sustainability. The dream for the Chamber is, we'd like to have a nice big building where businesses can set up office space. We would also like to be able to influence banks and financial institutions to take risk where they have not taken the kind of risk that's needed to sustain our businesses. So we'd like to see more of that take place. We would like to see a growth of at least 100 businesses that can stay in business for at least 4 years. Most businesses are out of business within 3 years. And those are not just our statistics, but those are statistics of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. So we know that the longer you're able to survive in business, if you go past 3 years and you make it to 5 years, then there also is a drop after the 5th year. We need to have the kind of businesses that my mom and folks in our community have. I can name a number of them now that are still standing, like the funeral business and those kinds of businesses where early families started them and they have been sustained or they have been bought by other companies because of their credibility, their wealth, and their command. We just need to find out how we can focus on growing economically on small scales, medium-sized scales, and large areas, corporate areas. How can we become producers? How can we establish industries that we control? And when we make a comparison to that, looking at the hair business, the hair folks started out making their own product, selling that product to market, and they controlled that product because that's our product. But when we look in our community today and we go to the hair supply places, we don't see ourselves, and they're selling us our products that we utilize. So there's a lot that we need to do, and I think part of it is educating ourselves in terms of where do we want to be sustained. If it's a fast food place, that's one thing. I went to a place earlier this week where there was fish and chips, and that market that I saw in the African American community is they're setting up shops all over, and they understand what we like and what we eat, but they have the organization, they have the capital that they're able to put it together, and so they usurp our money and provide goods and services for us that we buy. So I just think that we need to refocus and begin to think about how we can put models together, how we can work together with development companies. I mean, we really need to really pull a number of people with like minds together around what it is we can successfully do and do a few things well. With us, we bring networking, we bring advocacy, we bring buyer shopper's guide, which no one has ever put that out with black businesses, a 5-color publication that was distributed in Kroger's throughout this area. We do plastic discount cards where if you're a chamber member, there's going to be a discount for you if you shop with that person. And also resources. I get calls all the time from folks looking for African Americans in different areas, large majority companies. So you really need to be close to an entity that receives a lot of information. Again, we need to be able to disseminate that information. We need to be strong enough with memberships and supports from churches, schools, whomever, so that we can make sure we are working together as a team to make things happen.